All right, so the question here is x minus 2 a factor of 3x to the fourth minus 6x cubed minus 5x plus 10? Okay, remember, a factor means that essentially it goes in evenly, okay, into the dividend or whatever we're dividing into. Okay, so in order to answer this question, what we need to do is we need to divide the polynomial by the factor and see what the remainder is, right? Remember, what happens if the remainder is 0? If the remainder is 0, then it is a factor. If the remainder is not 0, then it's not a factor, right? So to determine if it's a factor or not, all we have to do is divide them and see what the remainder is, okay? So let's go ahead and divide it. We'll use synthetic division here because it's a linear factor. So we'll take the 2 and we'll divide it into the polynomial. Now you notice we got 3x to the fourth, right? Minus 6x cubed here. Notice there's no x squared term though, right? So I'm going to put a 0 in the place for the x squared. Minus 5x plus 10. And then we should be able to do the synthetic division here, right? Let's bring down the first number, which is 3. 3 times 2 is 6, so we get a 0. 0 times 2 is 0. We'll add those to get 0. We get another 0 here. Add these together to get negative 5. Okay, multiply negative 5 times 2 to get negative 10. And notice what happens at the very end here. Once we add the last column, we get a 0. What does that mean? It means that the remainder is 0. Okay, so that means that x minus 2 is a factor of this polynomial. Right? So we can conclude then that 3x to the fourth, right? That the original polynomial, let me just write it out, that the original polynomial should equal then the product of x minus 2 because we know it's a factor, right? So if you multiply x minus 2 by whatever this is, right? This is what? 3x cubed minus 5, right? So if we multiplied x minus 2 times 3x cubed minus 5, we would get the original polynomial, right? Because it's a fact. X minus 2 is a factor, right? So because we did the division, we got a remainder of 0. We have concluded that x minus 2 is going to be a factor.